How your addiction changes over time and grows even worse over time with Brian, episode 13, Unhinged Addiction. My name is Eric Zink. I'm your host. I go by the Mr. Impulsive on TikTok or Eric B. Zink on YouTube. Unhinged Addiction, I created this podcast because I just wanted to share the raw side of addiction. And I had the chance to talk with Brian, who I met through the Arkansas Peer Recovery. His story is amazing and how he got sober and what he's doing for the recovery community. But I love his story because of how he shares something I struggled with, which was the sex side even of addiction, but how your addiction kind of jumps and grows over time. So I want to get right into it. Brian has an amazing podcast. It's called the Dirt Bike Chronicles. Check it out. But here's Brian sharing about his addiction.
I've seen a lot of stupid podcasts and I've seen a lot of great podcasts. And I don't think that you are in the stupid category.
Well, I appreciate that. And if I was, you know what? Thanks for blowing smoke up my ass.
I can do that too, but I don't think I am.
I love it, dude. I went the route of I just liked having conversations with people. That was the whole way that I always went about it, and I always was fascinated by like the most unhinged thing that somebody did in their addiction, whether they have to edit it or not, because I don't think people sometimes get how extreme we did some shit in our addiction. What were your drugs of choice? I remember you told me back when I had met you in Arkansas.
Yeah. So my drug of choice, it started out. It like progressed.
Mm-hmm.
My drug of choice at first was alcohol, and benzo, Xanax, and then. So when I lost the relationship and the custody of my son, which was like fucking devastating, I was introduced to methamphetamine and the needle. And man, it like that just took me down through there. But it really, the meth saved me from the alcohol.
Right.
And the benzos and the alcohol and the benzos fucked with my mental health so bad that everybody thought I was bipolar. I was suicidal. They were taking me to fucking Oklahoma to see doctors because I'm Native American, and so I could go over there and see the doctors. I didn't have health insurance, blah blah blah. And so my dad was driving me like 4 hours from Arkansas to Tulsa, and we were seeing these doctors, and they were like, "Yeah, you're fucking bipolar, dude. You're wacko. You've got these major depressions and mood swings." But really, what it was is I was going so high on the alcohol, and then coming down so low on the benzos that my mentality was just like, I don't fucking know which way to be,
Right. No,
so they thought I was fucking crazy, and I thought I was fucking crazy.
What's the craziest, most unhinged thing you ever did when you were high?
Wow, damn, that's a deep question, and so it would be something sexual. All morals sexually were fucking lost, gone. And it's like fucking trauma that I'm still working through. It's when I got into recovery. So when I got into recovery, I've been clean and sober for 4 years. I just hit 4 years on March 15th.
Well, happy birthday.
That's a good day.
I know. Happy birthday. That's awesome.
Thank you. And we'll talk about the whole milestone, celebrating that shit, and my real opinion on that. But I realized that because of my drug and alcohol addiction stemmed and fed my sex addiction. And I don't believe that a lot of people talk enough about the sexual part. It's it really fucked me up. It did me really bad. And now that I've been in recovery and I'm able to be honest about that, I still struggle, Eric, with the fucking thoughts I'll be driving to work and watching these girls walk down the side of the street. I've done fucked one, married two, had children with three, divorced another, and I'm all the way back through the cycle by the time I get to work. And I can't control the thoughts sometimes. The difference is that I don't act on them, but the thoughts are fucking, they're haunting, bro. And so in my addiction, the sexual activity, the pleasure, the experience, the amount of fucking dopamine that is dropped whenever I would do my dose and then have sex. You can't make that, you can't get that dopamine anywhere else, and it fucked me up, man. And
Quick
but to go
question:
back
how
to
much
your
Viagra did
question,
you used to pop?
what is it?
Quick question: how much Viagra or like Cialis and shit did you used to pop while you were high?
I never got, well, so I would pop Viagra every now and then, but I'm a fucking addict, and so I think I have to take two or three, and then I have to deal with the splitting fucking headaches, and like I don't know why I have a headache, and then my dick still wouldn't work. So it was like, oh my god, I just got a headache, dude. That was the worst part, is about being a sex addict, being a drug addict, and then not being able to get it up after you got high. And then like your partner just looking at you like, what am I supposed to do with this? You're like, I don't know, man. That was the embarrassing part. So there's a whole like process of like the guilt and shame and shit that goes with that. But yeah, it would definitely be the sexual shit that I think that was the lowest point. Willing to do fucking anything. Um, and then you have to hide it from everybody, and sex has already got this like huge taboo on it. Nobody wants to fucking talk about it. It's a big secret, but everybody's fucking doing it. I mean, there are some points where like I would get high and I would go into the bathroom for like 12 to 14 hours and watch the most weird fucked up porn and stay away from everybody and like just try to fucking jerk off for hours, bro. And then I'd be raw, and then I'd be upset and be fucking mad, and I would have a girl laying in the bed, like it just doesn't make any sense. It's a whole vicious cycle of bullshit.
No, it is. I relate 1,000% to what you say, because just everything that you said right now was a lot of me. I mean,
yeah,
I wasn't a crystal meth addict. I hated meth, but I loved coke. But I was married to my ex-wife, and she was like 25 at the time. I'm 35, 34. This was like at the peak. Her cousin, who's the same age as her, was living with us. So I'm fucking my wife. I'm fucking my cousin, her cousin. So I'm fucking and she's living with us. They don't know, or the cousin knew, but she didn't. I was fucking like the 19-year-old receptionist at work. I was fucking two of the different saleswomen at work. I had a couple friends that were, I was always fucking somebody, doing coke, high as a motherfucker. Like I would pop Viagra every single day. I had a fucking cock ring so my dick wouldn't get super fucking limp. Like I was obsessed with alcohol, coke, and sex, dude. I would go on benders into nice hotels and get chicks to go there and just fuck for hours. And you couldn't really like finish, but dude, we're just gonna fucking go at it.
Yeah. And it's miserable.
It is.
It is miserable.
But there's a part of it. The worst part is there's part of it that we enjoyed because it was a dopamine rush. It was also part of the high. So there's a part of it that's like, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this.
Yes.
But you're also like, you're lying. You're such a piece of shit because you're lying and you're just like trying to manipulate people and not let paths cross and shit. It's just fucking.
I hope they don't find out. I hope she doesn't tell her or tell him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It's a fucked up pattern, man. And then we're still chasing it. It's like we get done with all of that shit, and then our our mind is right back to obsessing over the addiction. And we're like, oh, hey, what's up? What you doing? Hey, you want to meet me over here? And you're right back at it. And it's just that vicious cycle. And like, the worst part about it is that when you have an addiction to that measure, there's no fucking way that you can be present in the moment.
Right.
It's just impossible because your mind is constantly obsessing. And I'm not a huge believer in the disease theory of addiction, but I do believe in the disease part of the obsessive part. So my mind can't stop obsessing over the activity of that addiction, and I just gotta go, and it fucking keeps me from being present in the moment. And what in recovery, that is like the most valuable fucking thing. Like, so I'm a new parent. I have a 3-month-old daughter, which is a miracle in itself and a blessing, and like it's truly a gift from my greater power. And I'm trying to figure out how to be a good fucking parent, and what that even entails, and what does that mean, and I think about it constantly. And the only thing I can come up with is it's not about making the right decisions. It's not about, oh, I did this wrong or I did this right. It's very fucking simple, and it's to be present in the moment and experience every part that I can possibly experience with my child. And as a husband, and as a son, and as a recovery coach, and a program director, and a mentor, and in all of these different areas of my life, man, it's just, if I can be present and not stuck on the obsessive addiction part, because I'm addicted to fucking everything, bro. Like, it's not just sex or drugs or alcohol, or and today I'm addicted to conversations. I'm addicted to self-growth. I'm addicted to my values. I'm addicted to people. I'm still fucking codependent. But I am codependent on the healthy part of the relationship. I'll never be able to change my addict behavior in a healthy or unhealthy way, right? So I can either drive that focus into a healthy manner, or I can allow it to go way over in fucking left field and destroy everything that I've worked so fucking hard for. But it's just being present, and that's what the addiction robbed me of, was being present in the moment and experiencing things for what it is, and not obsessing over it. Like, that was absolutely awful. Was going home for Christmas or something, and sitting on the couch while everybody's opening their presents and eating food, and I'm sitting here. How can I get to the fucking bathroom to go do a bump? Like, it robs you of everything, bro. And
oh, it does. I mean, you look back at how many, birthday parties or holiday things that you were getting high in the bathroom, thinking that nobody really knows. I'm just going to get away with it. I'll just keep drinking. They'll think I'm drunk or whatever, because that's acceptable. It was always like acceptable to be drunk, and you drank too fucking much. Way to fucking go. Handle your alcohol better, whatever. and so I get that, dude.
Yeah, it's the addiction part, bro. Like, it robs you of pure enjoyment and human nature. Like, but I do believe this. I am not a victim of fucking addiction. I am not a victim of the sexual shit that happened to me when I was a child. I'm not a victim of the women in my life. Like, I can no longer play a victim, because I've come to the understanding that all of the horrible shit that I say that happened to me in my past actually, like, developed the person that I am today. And I've become extremely fucking grateful for every bit of it. There's an author his books changed my life and really pushed me into wanting to know more, know who I am, right?
Right.
And his name is Neil Donald Walsh, and he wrote these books called Conversations with God. Well, in his book, he's got this parable of the little light, and the, he tells this story like this, and this is Neil's shit, not mine. Okay, uh, he says there was the brightest light ever, and he came to God and he said, "God, I want to know who I am." And God looked at the light and he said, "Are you sure?" And the light said, "Yes, I want to know who I am." And so the God took his light away. And so the light no longer was the brightest light. He was in this dark, deep place of not knowing who he was, right? And so the light comes back to God and he says, "God, I know who I am now." And he got his light back. See, we have to experience everything that we are not in order to remember who we are. And I did that for 22 years of just being in complete total darkness and being everything that I'm not. It's like the yin and yang. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's if I've never experienced the opposite of what I am or who I am, I can never be my true self. And sometimes it takes people a lot longer than fucking others. It took me 20 plus years to figure out who the fuck I am. And uh, so I'm extremely grateful for that because today, uh, man, I feel that I'm a light to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel that I'm an example to other men, and I lead by example, and I take pride in that, and it's my purpose and my meaning. I don't know if you've ever heard of Viktor Frankl. He has this theory of addiction, and it's called the existential theory.
Mm-hmm.
And so Viktor Frankl, he went through the Holocaust, and he wrote this book called A Man's Search for Meaning, and through that, you can only imagine what the Holocaust was like. Like
Oh yeah.
it just absolutely like what the fuck, and for someone to find purpose and meaning in something that severe, which makes my whole story and situation in life like, oh, that's just like a grain of what that man went through.
Right.
um but anybody can find that, and me finding that purpose and that meaning, uh by being grateful for all the dark bullshit that I literally put myself through. It can change someone's life, man. And to just to be surrounded by the men that I am surrounded today, and to be able to coach them and mentor them and help them get through their bullshit, it makes all of those 20 something years totally worth it. And I would do it again. I
Mm-hmm.
would absolutely do it again, just to come back in the next life and help somebody else, because that's where I found the meaning and the purpose. But I'm extremely grateful for all of it.
No, and that's awesome. And I think there's a lot I think that we have to be grateful for. I mean, when it really comes down to addiction, the one thing I always found fascinating about it is I always look at how we understood addiction, even how we got sober was kind of like the way I look at religion. There's 7.7 billion people on the planet. So to me, there are 7.7 billion different religions. We all interpret it differently. Same when it comes to sobriety. There's no cookie cutter mold.
No.
And when I look at a lot of it, you had mentioned even earlier about the disease side of it. To me, addiction wasn't really a disease for me. It was a solution.
Yeah.
Disease, no, but yeah, for insurance purposes, please call it a disease.
Yeah.
um,
So I
but
can get paid
for
for
yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like you touched on, like you have so many of us have trauma, and who knows what your trauma is? There, you got people with sexual trauma, you got people with assault trauma. I grew up a great life on the outside, and I think a lot of people even fall into this category. You probably have met some of them where they're like, well, my life wasn't that bad. My mom and dad were there. I was never assaulted. I was never hit. I never starved for food. My dad was actually a doctor. He's really successful, so money was never an issue. But then when you really start to break it down, I'm like, man, why am I so fucked up? What's wrong with me? I should be grateful for this childhood. when I really delve into it, I found I had a lot of abandonment trauma. My parents would forget me at places. Like I remember what it was like wandering through like Kmart and Walmart because my parents forgot I was with them and left.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things of how we as a child interpret our life. I think we almost all in our own way have almost forms of trauma because we're not vocalizing it or talking to our family members or our parents about it, and it's all this stuff that we start to build these core beliefs,
Yeah.
and when I went and did a lot of my healing for the sexual side myself personally, I realized I had to be seen and heard, and sex made me seen and heard. It
Yeah.
made me feel wanted. It gave me validation, and it held
Yeah.
these pillars in my life of lies that I had that was like that people were always going to leave me, so I have to self-sabotage it so I'm in control. It was really fucking
Yeah.
whacked. It took a lot of therapy for me to get through a lot of shit. But it's amazing on just how you get sober. I mean, what was that rock bottom moment for you that you finally actually, after 22 years, got sober, or at least made the path of getting sober?
Yeah, bro, it was everybody's rock bottom is different, and the rock bottom for me was like the epiphany of like, bro, I had to look at myself and I had to be like, I am so sick and tired of your fucking bullshit. Like, you got to do something, and I had to talk to myself like a mentor or a father or a brother was supposed to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was my second trip to prison. Let's go back because I want to give some context on the trip before I went to prison, because this was my whole fucking rock bottom. So in 2020, it was during COVID, and I was homeless. I was walking around town with a fucking backpack, and any tweaker knows that we keep some really magnificent shit in our backpack, everything that we fucking own. And by magnificent, I mean about 6 broken charger cables and fucking torches and flashlights. Okay.
Huh?
But I had my whole get up, my whole setup for like dirty rigs and little baggies and spoons out the ass and whatever. But I'm walking around town, and I was waiting on my COVID money, my PUA money to hit, and so I had about 17,000 in back pay, and it was supposed to hit my bank account at like 10 o'clock that morning, and I got arrested around like 9 o'clock, and I was like, motherfucker, and so they take me to jail. My PUA money hits, and I released my money, my property to a homeboy.
Oh yeah.
Well, he tries to rob every bit of my money, and so I can't bond out. I finally after sitting there for 6 weeks, I bond out. Um, so I have to go to the bank. I have to get my stuff unlocked. He's robbed me for about $5,000 before they get it. But I get out and I got fucking money. And a tweaker with fucking $15,000, that's quite a bit of money.
Oh yeah.
So I get it, and I go balls to the wall the first fucking day. The second day, I go buy a $5 lottery ticket, and I hit for $100,000. Yeah, what the fuck? Like, who does that happen to?
Right.
And again, we're talking about a tweaker that just won the fucking lottery off a $5 scratch off and got all this PUA money. So I think my dick's like this big,
Oh yeah.
It's like, you can't tell me shit.
Uh-huh.
And so I take off to Oklahoma and I go to the casino, and my luck didn't just stop at the lottery ticket. Like, I won close to $1 million just on my card, my gaming ID, right?
Uh-huh.
What the fuck? Like, but here's the thing is, I buy fucking vehicles. I've got an H3, I've got a BMW, I've got all these cars, and I'm giving them away. I'm walking through the casino. I look like fucking Flavor Flav. I've got pinky rings and gold chains, and this is a tweaker's fucking dream,
Right.
and I've spent so much money at the casino. They're giving me a free suite, and you know, they're treating me like VIP. Like I have my own concierge at the fucking casino.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so, but I go through this money in like 45 days, bro. Like we're talking $1 million in 45 days. I don't give a fuck who you are. Close to $1 million in 45 days is fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I lost it all because I'm an addict. I'm a
Uh-huh.
gambling addict for sure. And you know when I'm gamble, I don't really gamble to win. I gamble to fucking lose everything.
Right.
And so when I lost everything, I had about 60,000 left in my bank account. I went through it on one machine in about 30 minutes.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, it's fucking insane. And so I'm back to nothing. I'm homeless. I have I trade my I have one car left. I trade it for a quarter pound of dope. Like what the fuck, bro? I have no shoes. I have no clothes. All my chains are stolen. Like everybody stole everything. And so I'm stuck with a quarter pound of dope, and so I finally get picked up in a few months after that, and but you know I'll never forget. It was Thanksgiving that year, and I was in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and it was fucking cold.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm sitting there, and I remember just thinking, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're sitting here with nothing. Your family, I have a great family. Your
Uh-huh.
family's having Thanksgiving dinner, and you're fucking sitting here worried about sticking a needle in your arm. Like, I couldn't quit obsessing over. I just need to get high. I just need to get high.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I would go to the casino and I would, you know, the needle dumps.
Yep.
I would rip those motherfuckers open just to get a needle so I could go get high. And,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's where my life was at. And this is like progressing in my rock bottom, which is having the understanding of like, bro, I'm sick and tired of your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And so in February, I get picked up in Oklahoma, and they hold me, and they're talking about extraditing me,
Okay.
and Arkansas never fucking comes and gets me. They released me back out into Oklahoma. What? Like, who does that happen to? I swear to God, I'm the luckiest person ever.
Right.
And it took me 2 weeks. So I got out, and I got my weight back. I was looking healthy, and I'll have to send you the picture of my prison picture when I went to prison. And bro, I had lost 20 pounds in like 2 weeks. I had scabs all over my face. But the day that I got out of jail, somebody gave me $20. I went over to the casino and hit for 2,500. I was back up.
Right.
So it was just this ride, you know, and so I was at the casino 2 weeks after that, and the state trooper pulled us over, and when he pulled us over, like I was like, I'm gonna give him a fake name. I thought about fucking running. I was like, the state line is right there. The trooper looked like a fucking gladiator. And I was like, and I had been awake for 2 weeks. Like, there's no way I'm doing shit.
Right.
And bro, I got there and I was back in jail, bro. I was back in a jail cell, and I was like, man, this is just I'm over it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
completely fucking over this. I hadn't talked to my dad in like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is my rock, you know, and so my family cuts me off completely.
Mm-hmm.
I was in prison for 2 years this last time, and
What were you in
nobody.
prison for?
So I had about six or seven felonies, but my main one was a delivery charge of methamphetamine. I sold to an informant. They wore a wire on me, which I just want to say shout out to my snitch. You saved my fucking life. I am very grateful for you, and I hope that you are getting the help that you deserve. But you know, it was this time, and I got the gift of gab. I mean,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I would always tell my family, "Hey, I'm doing great. I'm really working on myself. It's gonna be different this time. I'm gonna change. I'm never going back to that. I love you." All of these fucking broken promises. And
Right.
this time I didn't say any of that because I was so tired of hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
I was so I was kind of felt hopeless because I knew that I was going to hurt them again.
Right.
Um, but this, it was different this time. It was I read a lot of books in prison this time, and I really worked on myself. I studied every fucking religion I could get my hands on. Um, it was like, okay, what is God? Who the fuck is God? And why is God doing this to me?
Mm-hmm.
And so because my understanding of God had been so distorted throughout my childhood with the Christian religion,
Mm-hmm.
because the God that the Christian religion talks about is like punitive. He'll damn you to hell. You have to do this in order for him to love you. And I'm not like exaggerating any of this shit. This is
Uh-huh.
literally what the Christian religion teaches.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I couldn't live up to that, so I always let down God too. And
Right.
so there was all this guilt and shame from letting my family down, letting my son down, everybody that I loved. I couldn't keep that relationship, so I had just got to a point where I gave up, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just be lonely for the rest of my life. At least if I hurt somebody, it'll just be me."
Right.
And so I didn't talk to anybody because I was tired of telling them all the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I went to this program through the penitentiary, Arkansas Department of Corrections, and it's a reentry program. And so what happened was that there's 55 inmates that get picked to go to this reentry center, and there's 14,000 ADC inmates.
Mm-hmm.
And again, lucky fucking me, I get picked. And so I go to reentry, and I was still having those uh, reservations of the sex and the drugs and the high, and I mean, and just like the nut,
Mm-hmm.
like I was just like, okay, I'll get a hotel weekend, a room for the weekend. I'll have the girls lined up. I'll get this much dope. I'll make sure that I have clean points. I plan this out, and then I would dream about it, and it would be so fucking real. And so before I went to the reentry program, I still wasn't sure that I was done.
Download Sunflower Sober today. 24-hour support tools and resources, everything you need to get sober and stay sober. Sunflowersober.com, or go to the App Store, Sunflower Sober, on iTunes, Apple Store, and also the Google Play Store. Start fighting for your sobriety today. Trust me, it gets better and you are worth it.
Right.
Um, and so the rock bottom is still hitting because I know that something has to change, but I'm just not quite sure how to fucking change it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I get there, and there's these two men there that had been where I had been. They had done a lot of prison time. They were junkies like me, and they were running the reentry center. They were still on parole, and I'm looking at them, and as a man, all I ever longed for was to walk into a room and people give me respect.
Mm-hmm.
And these men, they fucking walk in the room and everybody respected them. They would sit up and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, they're here. They're in the room." I was like, "How do you fucking get that, bro? Like, what do you have to do to get that?" And they had families and they had cars and they were in shape, and like I wanted what they had, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so my rock bottom is still happening, okay? Because to me, rock bottom is the understanding that uh, I'm tired of your shit, and but I still don't know how to change it. And so these guys are they're living by example,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I graduate the reentry program, and after I graduate, I bug the shit out of them. I'm like, "Hey, how did you do it? How did you get the house? How did you get the job? How did you keep your family? How do you look at yourself in the mirror? Like how did you forgive yourself for all the bullshit that you did? Like,
Mhm.
because if you're the same kind of junkie as me, like we did some really awful shit. We robbed people, we lied to people, we fucked people's girlfriends and moms and sisters and daughters. And how do you forgive yourself for that? Like, how do you really work through that?
Mhm.
And we would just have conversation, bro. Like I bugged them so much, they were like, okay, I'll fucking sponsor you. Like I'll be your
Right.
mentor, you know, because I
Uh-huh.
wanted it so bad. I wanted something new for me. Like I never wanted to go back to prison. I
Mhm.
never wanted to ruin another relationship. I was so tired of lying to everybody else. I was tired of lying to myself. And I was still discovering who the fuck I am.
Mhm.
Um, and so they took me under their wing, man, and we would go to the gym every day, and we would talk and we would work out, and like finally, I had someone to look up to that I could relate with. You know,
Right.
my dad was an awesome man. He is an awesome man. We're best friends now, and you know, he taught me a lot. He taught me everything that he could fucking teach me, but I couldn't really relate to him because we weren't the same.
Right.
He was a, he was a straight edge dude and always made the best decisions. I was complete opposite. I was a dirty fucking junkie, a sex addict, like all of these stigmatizing words that I could come up with.
Mhm.
And I couldn't relate to him. And I didn't think that he could relate to me, but I tried. I tried to be honest with him. But these guys, they were like me,
Mhm.
and they had something that I wanted. You know, in the game, in my active addiction, I idolized and romanticized the drug dealer, and
Mhm.
it shows because I fucking got 10 years in state time for drug dealing. You know,
Mhm.
and that's what my life represented.
Mhm.
These guys, I idolized them. I romanticized their lifestyle, and so I just copied and pasted everything that they were doing. So much that, you know, even today, the universe has a weird way of fucking manifesting shit into my life. I have pretty much all the same shit. I'm the director of a men's treatment center. My mentor is a director of the reentry center, and I didn't ask for this shit.
Mhm.
I just did everything that they were doing and made it my own way and made it very genuine, and then I built this self-respect for myself. You know, today when I go to the treatment center or go to the courthouse, you know, I sit with the same judge that sentenced me
Mhm.
in staffing, and we talk about other participants in the drug court program, and judge looks at me and he's like, hey, so what do you think about this guy? And he values my opinion. You know, this is the same fucking judge that sent me to prison for 10 years, and
Uh-huh.
which I'll be on parole till 2031. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking with not only the judge, the fucking prosecutor,
Mhm.
and all of these people. I sit at the table like I've got a spot at the fucking table
Mhm.
now, and that's something that I never asked for. You know, I didn't even ask to be the director of this treatment center. uh, they just offered it to me. They said,
Right.
"Hey," I was volunteering up there, and they were like, "Hey, I got a job for you. Are you interested?" And I was like, "I guess," you know. And I went in and talked to him, and they were like, "Here, you're going to be my director," and they paid me to do what I love to do.
Mhm.
So you know, it was a copy and paste method for me, and making it genuine. But the rock bottom was a very long fucking process to understand. It
Mhm.
wasn't just like hit me in the fucking head and say, "Hey, it's time to change." Like it wasn't that quick. You know, as an addict, I want instant gratification, and my rock bottom had no instant gratification. It is a lifelong process. Um, but man, I'm so fucking grateful for the men that believed in me,
Right.
that saw the potential in me, and that invested their time. You know, they invested a lot of other shit, but their time, that's what's so valuable because as a busy person, today as a father, as a son, as a husband, as a professional director, as a college student, as a recovering addict, that takes up a lot of fucking time too. I don't have a lot, so the time that I do give people, I value, and they are in the same position, and they gave me that time. They believed in me. They saw the potential in me, and had hope, and gave me hope, and that human connection and that human relationship uh, is something that a substance could never fucking give me.
Right.
It's something that a sex a ritual could never give me. This shit is true. The connection with myself, the connection with others, it's true. It's real. Now it doesn't give me the same amount of fucking dopamine, and release all that pleasure at once, but the lifelong process and the reward of it is just, it's a miracle, bro. It's overwhelming sometimes.
It is, and I respect you, and I really mean this in the aspect of how you talk about a rock bottom, and I appreciate that because I don't think a rock bottom is a moment.
Right.
You know, that's my personal belief. We didn't become an addict because you popped a Xanax, and after that one Xanax, you're a raging addict. It doesn't work that way. You know, nobody. I've never met a fentanyl addict, an addict on some of this shit, that heroin. They didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to do felonies. I'm going to break the law left and right, and I'm
Yeah.
going to go balls to the wall with one of the most dangerous drugs there is.
Yeah.
Just that's what I'm going to do now. No one does that. It's such a slow, gradual process, and I don't think people really understand. Like, you know, like I love your story of, you know, okay, it was alcohol, then you know, you throw benzos into the mix, and then you find something else. That's how it is. You know, I think like everyone's like, oh, weed's the gateway drug. I think fucking alcohol's the gateway drug because you give me some alcohol and you could lay out anything in front of me. I love to snort shit, so whatever it was in a line, I would snort it.
Yeah.
Because that was part of my obsession. And so I love how you share that because that is how it is. Like we become a hardcore addict. It's a process, but we also get sober. And it's not like you look in the mirror and you're like, okay, I'm going to be sober now. This is my rock bottom. Brian, guess what, dude? It was this one day I woke up and I decided, you know, I mean, most addicts I know, like our rock bottom, we're sober half the time when we hit our rock bottom even. You know what I mean? And you're hitting that whole process, and a lot of times you're resisting even the sobriety side of it because it's jail related or it's fucking, you know, ward related or whatever it might be, and it just kind of forces you into that. And now your brain's fucking going crazy. You're going crazy, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this."
Yeah, and it's you know, I want to go back to what you were talking about with the trauma. I don't necessarily believe that trauma causes addiction. Now Freud, he is in his addiction theory of the psychoanalytic theory. He claims that addiction happens from like the culture, the trauma, all of that. I do believe in Freud's theory, but what I do believe that some people become addicts, like you were saying, just because drugs and alcohol are fucking fun, dude.
Oh yeah.
And then the chemical, it will like rewire the fucking brain and the reward system and the prefrontal cortex and just fucking change everything. And then it's like, oh my God, now I've got to fucking have it and the body needs it, right? But it does. There's a lot of cases because addiction is not a cookie cutter solution, and it's not a cookie cutter problem. It happens in many different reasons and for all kinds of different reasons. But I don't know if trauma is necessarily the root cause of it. I just think that it's fun.
I started because, and I can tell you how I started. I started because I was 14 years old. I was ADHD. I didn't know it at the time. I was just diagnosed. And the one thing I always had struggled in my life, and I still struggle with, is I wanted friends and I didn't feel normal.
Absolutely.
And if I got some beer I was cool all of a sudden. People wanted to hang out with
Yeah.
me. I had friends all of a sudden. I was normal, like cool.
Yeah.
Like that's really that thing. I just wanted to be liked. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted this friendship. I never felt like I was quite normal. I knew I was literally weird. I would say shit that probably wasn't the most appropriate, whatever, but all that was okay if I had alcohol.
Yeah.
We could all crack open a beer and go to some house, you know, being built or whatever at some construction site and get drunk, and it was cool. And now I had things to talk about these other kids with
Yeah.
or whatever. And then, you know, it slowly somebody shows up and they're like, hey, you know, they got weed now all of a sudden. So now I'm trying weed. I mean, the first time I did acid, I was in high school, and one of the kids was like, one of my friends who I get drunk and high with or whatever was like, dude, I just dropped some acid. I was like, dude, you got any more? He's like, yeah, you want some? And I mean, that's how it happened. I dropped acid in the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that I was going out and trying to seek it. I just was like seeking this connection and friendship and normalcy.
Yeah. And I think that's, that's what recovery is. Like recovery, my definition of recovery is to return to a healthy state of mind, body, and spirit. And I'm reading this I'm doing this study right now. It's called The Fourth Way. And what it talks about is, Buddhism and all of these different religions, they focus on like the mental or the emotional or the physical or the spiritual. And this book is talking about how we connect and we find balance with all of them, and we use all of them to become enlightened or more aware. And I believe in that. I believe that I have to find balance in the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. And when I can, then I feel connected. Here's the thing about me is like, I'd rather go back to prison. I'd rather lose my wife, lose my daughter, lose my relationship with my father, lose my fucking job, lose my car, all my finances. I'd rather lose all of that before I lose the relationship that I have with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've come to an understanding, if I don't have the relationship with myself, I have none of that other shit anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have valued my personal well-being before anything else, because what I do for myself, I'm really doing for all of these people and these things. And,
Right.
and if I ever lose that, they're fucked and I'm fucked. And so I have to put myself first. I have to put my mind, body, and spirit first. And when I do, the universe just lines everything up. And I don't even have to force it. I don't have to try. I don't have to ask. It's just blessing after blessing after blessing. And I've learned to trust that process, just like the process of rock bottom. I've learned to trust the process of life, and I think it's Taoism that talks about Wu Wei, and just going with the flow. And sometimes I try to make my own way and my own path, and I force shit, and it's like, what happens when you force a fart? You shit everywhere, right? And so I don't want to. I'm tired of shitting on life, and I'm tired of forcing shit to happen. And here lately, I've been going through these things. Like, I've been taking my recovery too seriously. I've been taking my job too seriously. I've been taking myself too seriously, and parenting too seriously, and being a father and husband and all this shit, right? And it's just these small moments that bring me back to reality of understanding that I just need to enjoy life, bro. I just need to just breathe and say, man, there's got to be something greater than me out there that's got this shit all planned out. And the more that I try to force shit to happen, the more I get out of line, and I get back into my head. And being here, bro, I don't know about you, but what goes on up here is real fucked up for me.
Oh yeah, no, it is, dude.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's extremely fucked up, and the problem I think too is a lot of people. I mean, I don't know about you, but you kind of deal with, like, as soon as you take things so serious and you so much focus, it's almost like you have imposter syndrome all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where you start looking at everything and you're like, I don't deserve any of this. Oh my God, people are going to wake up and realize that I'm not qualified. You know what I mean? And it's like, it builds this whole reverse like paranoia all of a sudden where you really do lose yourself to it. Cause I've went down that path before a few times,
Yeah.
you know, whether your ego gets too big or whatever it might be, that's just not balanced out right.
Yeah.
And it's a scary place to be in an addict's brain, even if you're sober sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what brings me back to reality? It's like I had a long day at work today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
any day in the treatment field is fucking long and emotionally draining. And
Mm-hmm.
you have crisis after crisis after crisis, and when you're the man, they all come to you for the solution, and it's like I am so fucking tired of giving you solutions. But then I remember that it's my purpose. But today I'm leaving and I'm trying to rush to get on this podcast, and I'm pulling up to my mom's. I'm going to pick somebody up, and my cousins they're real young and they're children, right? And they're running in the field and they got their shirts off and they're laughing and they run up to me and they're like, Brian, Brian. And I stop and remind you I'm rushing to get set up to get on the show, and they're like, we love you. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, bro? I'm taking life way too seriously. Like
Yeah.
it's so important to be a child, to experience life and to enjoy it. And I think that is the purpose of life, is to experience everything possible. You know, if God is this invisible being and not physical, um, the only way for God to experience the physical is through me experiencing shit in the physical. And so it's important for me to experience everything, and I truly believe that is the purpose of life, is to experience all things any way possible. Um, you know, it's like this, like uh, if you play video games, like let's say Call of Duty,
Mm-hmm.
and the you can get on the game and you can do all kinds of different shit. You can die and come back to life. You can shoot this guy, you can get this gun, get that care package. You can go out. There's even like Easter eggs in the game, like little cheat codes that you can do. But there's nothing that you can do in that game that the creator of the game didn't put in the game.
Right.
Oh, and so I truly believe that my creator created my game. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I can do that my creator doesn't know about or
Mm-hmm.
didn't put there for me to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started to believe that and like accept that as my new reality, it's like I can do no fucking wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing that I can do that will make my creator be like, "Oh my God, you're a horrible fucking person."
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that it's me saying, "Oh my God, you're a horrible fucking person."
Mm-hmm.
And it has brought a level of sense to me, and just it has changed my mentality on everything that happens, um, because I've realized that nothing is happening to me; everything is happening for me.
Right.
You know, and it's just it's a sense of gratitude, bro. Like to go through the shit that people like me have been through, people like you have been through, because I've heard some of your story, bro. It's wild, okay? The hurt and the pain and the suffering and the just the mental health and the addiction, and it's absolutely life changing. But to hit it with a sense of gratitude, like thank you for allowing me to experience that. It changes the whole game. It changes the whole game.
It really does. And I don't think that's what like many addicts and stuff, even when you're in active addiction or people that don't really understand addiction, like I wouldn't change anything that I ever went through. I wouldn't change losing my wife. I wouldn't change losing my dad. I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah.
To at least, especially the last 2 years of my life, like once I really healed a lot of other issues and challenges and stuff that I had, and man, really came to terms with a lot of things and creating this life I want. I look back at and I'm like, Jesus, man, like I never imagined having a life like this. Like this was the life I
Yeah.
always dreamed about. This was the life I was getting high and just wanted to be normal, like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it happens, and it's not anything out of the norm that you do. You just be grateful for the things coming in and be a good human being.
Right.
It's amazing what fucking happens.
Yeah. It's wild. And because you can't dream this shit up.
No,
Like,
and it's not luck. Like I hate to say it, everyone's like, "Oh, you got luck."
yeah.
None of this shit's luck. Yeah, there might be the right time, right place, whatever. But I think it's the authenticity, it's the honesty, it's what people see in us that's
Yeah.
different. And I think all addicts, I mean, we've been to hell and back, man, and we've been to
Yeah.
some dark, scary places. And to make it out of that, I think
Yeah.
it leaves you with a brighter light than a lot of other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and this might be prejudice, but I really don't want to fuck with anybody that ain't been through some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you
Mm-hmm.
really haven't been through no shit, we can't be homeboys. We can't be
Mm-hmm.
friends. Like, if you're gonna be close to me, like, you know, I want you to have gone through addiction. I want you to have gone through divorce. I want you to have gone through losing your friends or family or through something traumatic. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that people that have gone through that and made it out on the other side, those are the real motherfuckers. Those are the ones that are genuine, that are authentic to life itself, you know. And all of my people, they've been through some shit.
Yeah, no, same. And it's those people that can be honest about it, you know?
Yeah.
You're not running from it. Like those people that own the shit that they've been through, no matter what it was, and they're like, dude, I'm like, I respect you for that. Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Like you know what it's about. And then you meet some of these people and you're just like, man, and I don't know what it is about you, if it's just that you're not authentic, you're hiding something, but something ain't fucking right with you, bro.
Right.
Like, because we can smell our own. We can smell, it's
Yeah.
like you can almost smell out bad people.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I'm just
That
like, I
intuitive
don't know
feeling.
what it is, but I don't fucking like you, and I don't know why, but I'm gonna trust my instinct because I'm living a really good fucking life right now, and if it's saying that you're a motherfucker, you're a motherfucker.
Yeah, that intuition, that's a God-given gift right there.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I didn't trust it for so long. And I think that's because my confidence level was so beaten up, you know, by other people, by myself. And it's just because I didn't know who I was. And honestly, I don't want to be around people that don't know who they are. You got to go
Mm-hmm.
figure your shit out before you can come fucking hang out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say hang out, just kind of like be part of my circle. You're never going to catch me on a homeboy's couch flipping through my phone going, hey bro, I'm bored, what you doing? Like
Right.
if I'm doing that, I'm about to get high. Like I know that's a fucking problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just a character, being genuine, being authentic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was my first trip in prison. And I was talking to my grandfather. My grandfather is a retired evangelist for the First Assembly of God Church.
Okay.
And you know, he's older, and you know, I could never really relate with him. But the first trip, he was like putting money on my books and taking care of me. And I would call him and I'd be like, yeah, Papa, I'm leading the prayer circle and I'm reading my Bible every night. And he stopped me on the phone. He was like, Brian, when are you gonna be genuine? And I was like, damn, that hurt, bro. Like, I was like,
Uh-huh.
what are you talking about? I got real defensive and shit. But even he could tell that I wasn't being genuine, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And we can. It's like a dog smells fear, you know.
Yeah.
It's just and you can't teach anybody how to discover their true self.
No.
Like you have to go through it and you have to seek that. And
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to know, all you have to do is listen and it will direct you in there. And that's the thing too. It's like there's nothing to find. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're already there. You just forgotten who you are. You got to remember who you are, you know. And when you break down the word remember, re is to do something again, member is to be one with something, right? And so you're becoming one with yourself again when you remember who you are. And you know, a little bit of wordplay, but it's interesting when you really want to know that answer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the question that I always ask myself is like, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck am I? Like, and it would just come in small moments. It was a process. and I forget who I am a lot of days. But my level of awareness has come along so much that I'm like, I'll forget who I am, and I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot who I was. This is who I am. So yeah, it's definitely a process. Definitely.
No, it is. It is a process. It's hard to trust the process, but it's like, it's amazing because it can be whatever you want it to be. You know, and
Yes.
it's like everyone's seeking this answer and seeking what is this special answer? How do I get sober? How do I change this? And it's like, dude, the answer is right in front of you, and it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I try to tell people all the time, because it's like, oh, how do I get sober or this? And you know, I'm like, do you want to be sober? And if you do, it's the start of an adventure almost, man, because how I got sober isn't how you're going to get fucking sober. You're not going to have a dad who commits suicide, most likely. You're most likely already haven't lost somebody to suicide. You haven't went through what I went through. I haven't went through what you went through. Like, we're going to have these different little things, because when I wasn't ready to be sober, I used AA all the time to relapse. You know, I'd read that big book and read those stories in the back and be like, well, these don't relate. This isn't happening to me. Fuck this. This shit don't work, you know? And,
I'm special.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm doing A, B, and C, which they're telling me to do, and this isn't happening, obviously I'm different then, and fuck you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I believe that addiction is a spiritual sickness. I believe it's addiction is a spiritual disease. And you know, I'm going to go back to the wordplay a little bit because I'm not a huge believer in the disease theory, but I do believe that addiction puts my life at dis-ease. Everything about it, the sex, the substance, the alcohol, the gambling, the codependency, all of that puts my life at dis-ease. And but I believe it's an internal issue. And I believe the problem with a lot of people that are having trouble getting sober or clean is that they're trying to fix an internal issue with an external solution. The only way that I believe, because I've gone through it and I've experienced it, not just with myself, but hundreds of other people, is that they finally make the decision whenever they look at themselves and build a genuine relationship with themselves. It's the only solution I've found. You can fucking big book it, you can NA it, 12-step it, 13-step it, you can fucking smart recovery, you can pray to God, ask Jesus to take it away, talk to Buddha, put a Buddha statue on your shelf. You can do all of this shit outside of yourself, and it's not going to fucking work. But the second that you start going internal and going in, you know, it's just like Neil Donald Walsh says, if I don't go within, I go without. And so if you want to get sober, build a genuine relationship with yourself. If you want to get clean, if you want to stop gambling, you want to stop the addiction, you got to fight the internal spiritual disease with an internal solution. It's all about a genuine relationship connection with yourself.
No, I love that, dude.
Yeah, you want to forgive yourself, start within. You know, sit down and fucking sit with the problem for a little bit. You know, meditate, shut the fuck up and listen. You know, you have a conversation with an imaginary friend in the room and be honest with yourself. Do therapy in the mirror or something. You know, a lot of people have a problem sitting with a therapist. My problem with the therapist is that I'll manipulate the fucking therapist. You know, as somebody that's going to school, I'll be completing my bachelor's here this time next year in addiction counseling. I'm going to go straight into my master's and become a therapist myself. But I manipulate the fuck out of therapists. But who I can't manipulate is myself. I get honest with myself, look myself in the mirror, and seriously just go back to the main question, like, or statement, and say, I'm so fucking tired of your shit, bro. Like, when are you gonna grow the fuck up? And then I start defining all of these things for myself. But it's an internal solution. It's nothing external. Nobody's gonna fix it for you. Nobody's coming to fucking save you.
Right.
Because you don't want to be saved if you're looking for somebody else to do it. If you wanna find the solution, start asking yourself for the solution.
That's strong, dude. I love that.
Yeah, it's it's something that it's going to take a lot of work for anybody that's listening. Is it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of self work, and it's going to take a lot of self discipline. And you know, it's going to take routine. It's going to take some rituals of the way that you do that routine, and you're going to have to make strict fucking rules for yourself, and you can't break them. If you put your word on it, fucking stick to it for yourself. Quit telling everybody. Just do it. Just tell yourself what you're gonna do and fucking do it. Um, you know, and define that. Like one thing that I have to define for myself in my recovery is, you know, I like I said earlier, I wanted to walk into a room and I wanted to feel respected.
Right.
I wanted people to say, "Hey, that's the motherfucking man." And I know that's my ego, but
Hmm.
that's the way that I wanted to feel because I longed for that, right?
Right.
So I had to define, I wanted to be a remarkable man.
Okay.
I wanted to be a remarkable person. And so in order to do that, I had to define that for myself. I couldn't take my mentor's definition. I couldn't take my father's definition. I had to create my own definition of what that looks like because if I'm living up to anybody else's definition, I'm there I go again. I'm looking for external solutions
Right.
and everybody else's opinion and people pleasing, but I had to define that for myself, bro. And when I started doing that, things started changing. My behavior started changing. My whole routine started changing. I had to line up my values, and if it went outside of my values, then I wasn't being a remarkable person. And so now I know, and the thing about my definition is it fucking changes every day because I'm always learning and I'm
Hmm.
always understanding more about myself, and that's the key too is to be willing to go with the flow, to woo away that shit.